Feature Friday.
The freshest.
Let's go now to a very interesting album
Yeah.
which is Ben and Ben from the Philippines.
Yeah. I know.
Great band, outstanding band, and they have this album called. Let me show you. I think it's called Pebble House, in English. I'm not sure if they named it something else in Tagalog. Ben and Ben, Pebble House, Ben and Ben. I see the cover of the cover art as well. Yeah, so that's the cover art, Volume 1. That's Ben and Ben. Obviously, you're very familiar with them. It's one of the latest songs that they've done. And in this album, the objective, I don't think, was to sort of just make collaborations. But I think that was definitely part of it. You know, they have Moira de la Torre as a collaboration here. They have SB19 as a collaboration here. They have Zild and Juan Carlos as a collaboration here. Great collaborations. So let's get into it, because there are some thoughts that I think I want to express, and I hope they show truly my thoughts and what I felt. Not my thought, but what I felt while listening to his album. So it starts with Cuaderno. It's actually the name of the song is Cuaderno, but it's spelled Cuaderno in Tagalog. Yeah, I'm not sure if also, I do apologize if perhaps they are speaking in a dialect that I didn't highlight that. Of course, I'm not fluent in anything, barely English and Spanish. So Cuaderno is just an intro, and I said it's awesome to again see instrumentals as an intro in albums. Pebble House, let me just show you a bit of it. It's truly amazing. That's the intro of the album. Just hear this. You have it with headphones.
With your headphones.
You have it with headphones. A dark room. You listen to the album. You're going to Mars. You're actually gonna trip. You know. So I said it's very nice. When was the last time you saw an intro of an album actually do this? Last time was Lady Gaga Chromatica. You know, there hasn't been. I mean, maybe Yeba does that. I don't know if in the latest album. I don't even think she did, and she's a very, an insane musician. But it's a tell. This is kind of like you're gonna step into Ben and Ben's world here for a good while. So it was very good to see again instrumentals set the atmosphere, musical expertise, arrangement, layers, using musical principles of less is more, taking away beats and percussion just to allow vocalizations to take hold of you, and then bring percussion in to then give you an umph. That's fantastic to see. Someone like Phil Collins is very famous for doing things like those. So anyways, fantastic, good intro. Then it goes to Kasaya, which is, by the way, from the intro to Kasaya, it feels like one song, but the album changed, the song changed. So it was so well made that the outro finishes and immediately the next song plays, and you feel like you're watching a concert because it was seamless. So world-class arrangements, minor percussion, seamless transitions of Kasaya. Good song. I said, ladies and gentlemen, this is an album. Like, this is an album, like a proper album we're listening to, like proper band album. Then I like, the sort of lyrics of it. He says, I'm dancing in my own shadow, which I really like that. I said it's very thick, it's very energetic, inspired. It showed purpose, this song. Then he goes to Swimming Pool. And I said, okay, so we start seeing sort of the collaborative idea of the album, because Swimming Pool is done with a singer called Chito Miranda. Okay. And it was very interesting to see Ben and Ben sort of adapt and collaborate with different singers, with different colors, with different, voice colors, with different intricacies and tendencies. So I said we start to see the collaborative idea of the album. especially in this song, it's like Swimming Pool. It's not my style of music. It's way more Waleska style of music. Or should I say, I don't know, Waleska, wherever she is. Not the strongest song ever, in my opinion, though. But it's very interesting colors.
Okay.
Then it goes to Eliu, which I said this is a great start in the intro, and I think this is what makes Ben and Ben one of the best bands in the world, because this song really strips down what they're really good at, because they're good at this concept of like taking away everything and making complex issues and emotions simple through music. And this is something a common theme in the project of Pebble House, which very simple lyricism, but wonderful, because there's so much beauty also in simplicity.
Yeah, but for me it's very complicated, because Ben and Ben is a number of
so many
musicians. So I think they are like 7, 9.
Yeah, I think it's like 10. There's so many of them.
Yeah.
Even they have a violinist, which I mentioned here.
Yeah, can you imagine the composer and how to do the arrangement?
It's all of them.
To keep everybody happy.
They compose themselves. I think that's why they keep everyone happy, because they compose themselves, and their family, a lot of them.
Oh, right. Well, it may help. Yeah, it may help to create a connection between them.
Still difficult to arrange, though.
But it's very difficult to achieve.
Yeah.
Yeah, so many different ways of perception of what the music is about. It doesn't matter if you are my son.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many years we have been performing together.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you have your own concept.
Of course, yeah.
And if I don't adapt to your concept, and
it's going to be friction and conflict.
Playing together, there will be a conflict.
Yeah, and friction, especially. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, friction. How did they deal with that? It's an amazing achievement.
There would be a really interesting band to sort of sit down and speak to, because
thinking about the intro, and then you go to another different collaboration with different genre of music.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Peculiar. They're truly a unicorn, I would say. But anyways, I said that there's intermittent arrangements in this song, in the sense of they're very predictable, and there's lots of in Spanish we'll call them cortes, kind of stops and cuts and splashes and cymbals being hit. Lot of intermittent arrangements like those. They're consistent and they're predictable, but I think they're digestible. Well, they're obviously digestible because of those reasons, but I think it was done on purpose, because you want the audience to profoundly connect with the lyrics and not allow the music to become a barrier through its complexity to not understand fully the song's meaning.
Yeah. Again, that's something very difficult to achieve.
Impossible.
That's what I say.
This is a proper band, they are, in terms of musician band. Then it goes Pasabulong, another seamless transition. Pasabulong, I think, is a song that they have with Moira. So there's Moira de la Torre collaboration. We've checked it out in the channel, so there's a reaction up for that. Then it goes to Magpahinga, which is a very relatable song, I said, because the theme is like 24 hours don't feel enough. And this is actually a very smart way to approach, this song. Like the whole theme of the song is a very smart way to approach the. Okay, so the next song was Magpahinga, which is, I said, like the concept of the song is sort of to tackle this. Like you have a sea of problems, and 24 hours don't seem enough. But funnily enough, I was actually in maybe not to get too philosophical, but a few days ago, Father and I we were just in a museum, and it was a museum about sailing, not sailing, but how.
It was a maritime museum of maritime
like
war,
boats and all that stuff, right? And in the song, there's this concept of there's not enough hours in the day to sort out your sea of troubles, right? Because everyone has very difficult issues and things going on, personal battles going on, and 24 hours doesn't feel enough in a day to try and figure out yourself and do all the things you also must do. And I said, like, again, not to get too philosophical, but perhaps even though it isn't enough time for us to kind of discover and understand ourselves day by day, we should take strength and meaning in the fact that throughout history, that's what humanity has done. Being able to find their way in the middle of nowhere and touch land. Like there was a concept in the museum where people navigated the sea when there was no compasses. They would look up in the sky and connect with the stars through astrology, of course, and studies of the stars. Astronomy, sorry, not astrology, astronomy. And the studies of the stars. To somehow find your way home. And it was one of the most difficult and unbelievable things that humans, I feel, have done consistently. Now it's too easy, you know? But then, bizarre that we were able to survive for that long. And that I'm here thanks to people like those. Mm-hmm. So perhaps we should find strength that even though we don't have enough time and it feels like we're always rushing and we're drowning in this sea of issues and troubles, perhaps the hope is that if you are alive today, it's because all your ancestors were able to discover and find a way and find light in a sea of complete and utter darkness and angst. But anyways,
as I said before, it's better when you fail trying and trying and trying.
Yeah.
You can fail, you know, very proud of it because you tried so many times, even when you didn't find a way. So behind you will come someone that related that the job you did before, the job you performed before, will be the fundamentals for next generations to do it better and better, to improve and find the achievement.
That's essentially what we learned that day, right? Like all these ships that went missing, all these sailors that died, all these captains that ended themselves, all led to progress. Because before they gave up, they tried countless times.
Like no other.
Yeah. But anyways, then he goes on to one of the most peculiar and interesting collaborations, because Waleska and I have spoken about this collaboration a lot. Sealed and Juan Carlos. They're incredible alternative singers, alternative rock. But I would never picture them with Ben and Ben. I would have pictured them working together, but never with Ben and Ben. And they did in a song called Lunod. And a darker concept, a concept of anxiety and angst and being drowned in your sea of troubles. But each collaboration, what it feels like in the album, like for example, it feels like you are tackling an issue or speaking about a problem from different perspectives. And that's why you brought other people to sing in the song with you. So for example, Sealed's approach is a bit dark in the song. And then Juan Carlos' approach is a bit more combative of fighting a monster. And I probably will lose, but I would attempt to fight the darkness. So very, stylistically, it's such an intriguing sort of collaboration. But very well done. Then he goes with Sabel, which KZ Tandingang is the collaboration with Ben and Ben. And here we go way more tribal, way more, we strip down everything and it's mainly percussive, minor percussion. And it's a more fighting approach with hope, with a sign of hope this time. And we're seeing how the album is conceptually evolving. We're not just now seeing the evolution from intro to outro, but conceptually, we're tackling issues and we're talking about stories and personal topics. And as the
challenges, and then you go to the roots.
And then as the album progresses, we're resolving those issues and we're coming to a conclusion as the outro comes. So anyways, in this song, it's a wonderful piece of harmony work. The harmonies between KZ and Ben is great. I can't wait to see that live. I do wish they do put something out together live. I think KZ's, personality in her voice comes through so great, and she's one of my favorite singers, so maybe I'm biased, but I think she's a great singer.
Oh yeah, she is, I think.
Yeah. Then it goes Kapang Gyarihan, which means power, and it's with SB19. They're obviously no strangers to each other. They have worked before together. And I said a very big start in the song. It's very big. It's very powerful. It's sort of interesting how they decided to go heavier on rap, and it's kind of like metal, like heavy rap metal for some reason. And because it feels more like a protest. This song, the song is about what you would do with power, and I think perhaps they're alluding to powerful people and how they've perhaps become corrupted themselves and utilize power to manipulate people and not to bring people up. So it feels more like a protest, more like an encouragement to think. And then the rest of the album is more of not to make this too long, but the rest of the album.
How many songs you said in the album?
This is quite a lengthy album because there's so many collaborations, but it's only 13 songs in comparison to what a lengthy album would be.
Full album, yeah.
Definitely a full album. And they did say volume 1, so maybe they'll come out with volume 2. Pebble has volume 2, because the idea of like the album, you know in the cover how it has different rooms.
Yeah.
So I think what the idea was, let me put this up, is to sort of in each room there's a different vibe, there's a different issue, there's a different sound, there's a different person to converse with in a house. And I think that's why they sort of brought these different people to converse with, musically speaking. But overall, it's a very, 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 very good album. One of the best albums of the year, if not in a good while. I think they should be very proud of what they've achieved, and I'm very proud to be able to even review it and share it with you guys.